Hello and welcome to Fit to Box channel. Today I'm going to talk about Mike Tyson. And Mike Tyson is coming back and I'm super excited about this. We've all seen the footage of Mike Tyson hitting the pads and the power is still there, the speed is still there, he looks in the best shape that he has in years, and more to the point, he has got that sort of hunger inside and he wants to come back and really make a go of it and see what he can do at the age of 53 years old. So can Mike Tyson roll back the years? Can he win the World Heavyweight Championship at 53? I would love it, absolutely love it, if he was able to do that. But the question is, can he do it? Put in the comments down below who you would like to see Mike Tyson fight, because there is a whole load of people out there who would be a great matchup against Mike. Later in the video I've got an idea about how Mike Tyson can get to the very top of the boxing world again. Now I am a huge Mike Tyson fan and no one would like it better for if he was to come back, have a 4-round exhibition fight, which is what he's sort of planning, look sensational, and then turn pro and decide he's really going to give it a real go to come back as a professional fighter. I would love it if he teamed up with Teddy Atlas after all these years of sort of not being friends with each other. I would love it if Teddy Atlas returned as his trainer like he was his trainer when he was a teenager. I'd love it if later in the year or in 2021 he was then going to have 3 fights against 3 sort of like not journeymen but 3 people that he goes in and he absolutely smashes, looks amazing, and then that lines up some real big fights for Mike. Then the dream again is in say 2022 he fights Deontay Wilder. He knocks out Deontay in 2 rounds. Then Anthony Joshua, he lines Anthony Joshua up. He knocks Anthony Joshua out in 4 rounds. And then Tyson Fury, the undisputed champion who will be at that time, and Mike Tyson goes in there, knocks him out in 5 rounds. That is the dream. That is what everyone is sort of clasping onto. They're looking at this little bit of footage of him on the pads. They're rolling back the years. They're thinking about what he was like in 1986, 1987, 1988. And they're thinking, if he can just tap into that, the world can be his again. Can he do that? If he did that and did all of those things, he'd be 56 and the oldest heavyweight champion ever. And that would really top and tail his career, because not only would he be the oldest heavyweight champion, but he would also be the youngest heavyweight champion as well. And what a fairy tale that would be. And me, I would really love that to happen. So let's take a look back and see where it all started. Let's see what's happened recently to Mike and see since his last professional fight to now what's been going on. And also I think there's a lot of sort of key factors in there that tell us whether or not this comeback can be successful. 1985, Mike Tyson turned pro. 5'11", short for the heavyweight, 214 pounds, aged 18, and he was absolutely awesome at that stage. Between 1985 and 1989, Mike Tyson was peak Mike Tyson. The Mike Tyson, the highlight reel Mike Tyson. Okay, when he was age 20, won the title against Trevor Berbick. He was 220 pounds, and as I say, the youngest heavyweight champion ever. Okay, Trevor Berbick was hit, rolling all over around the canvas. You know, iconic images of him winning the World Heavyweight Championship at 20, being hoisted aloft in the air by Don King. 1990, the wheels came off a little bit. He lost a bit of focus and he lost to James Buster Douglas. 1992, the wheels came off even further and he went to jail. He went March 1992, went to jail, didn't come out of jail until March 1995. And then in his first fight back, fought Peter McNeely. 1996, he beat Frank Bruno for the second time. If you remember, Frank Bruno crossed himself 17 or 18 times on the way to the ring. He was scared to death, and rightly so, because Mike Tyson was looking awesome once again. He'd had a long time out through his prison time, but he did come back in some great shape. 1996, he lost to Evander Holyfield in Evander Holyfield 1. 1997, lost to Evander Holyfield again with the ear bite, where he sort of lost a bit of control after he'd been butted a few times by Evander Holyfield. 2002, he lost to Lennox Lewis, okay, a fight that come way past Tyson's peak. 2004, he lost to Danny Williams. Okay, so there's no way that a peak Mike Tyson would have lost to Danny Williams, but Danny Williams pulled it off. And 2005, he lost to Kevin McBride. Okay, yeah, he hadn't got the hunger anymore, yeah, he was paying off debts, but in 2005, he lost to Kevin McBride. Let's remember that is 15 years ago. 2006, he started to do some 4-round little exhibition fights just because he was trying to get some money in. His weight at one point ballooned to 380 pounds. And remember, his fight weight, when he won the title, he was 220 pounds. He appeared in some films, the Hangover films and some others. He also did his one-man stand-up show, which was very good. He also had a cartoon, Mike Tyson Mysteries, which was a bit like Scooby-Doo. He also claims that he's been smoking £33,000 worth of cannabis a month. Okay, that is not going to have helped him over the last few years. But he does look in good shape now, and also, as I say, on the pads, for those few seconds, he looks awesome, okay, and that's what everyone's really excited about, because on those, for that little amount of time on the pads, he looks fantastic. So, can Mike do it? The answer is, in my opinion, no. He's 53 years old. You know, that is really old when it comes to heavyweight boxing. It's been 30 years since we have seen the peak Mike Tyson at the late 80s. 30 years. That is a tremendous amount of time to be away from your best. Tyson's style as well depends on a lot of head movement, getting in past sort of the jabs and the straight punches to land his big bombs. And that style takes a tremendous amount of energy. If he's been smoking weed for the last number of years in the quantities that he said he has, obviously his lungs are not going to be in anywhere near as good a shape as they're going to need to sustain that energy. So looking good on the pads is one thing, but obviously in the ring he's going to be being punched back. The body and the head is not as good at taking shots as you get older. Let's not forget he had an extensive amateur career. He also had 58 professional fights. The last one in 2005, 15 years ago, and he lost to Kevin McBride, who, let's be honest, wouldn't have lasted 2 rounds with him in his peak between 1985 and 1989. Okay, so that shows you in 2005 how far Mike Tyson had slipped then. It is 2020 now. So it is a great dream, and I would love it to happen. But in reality, if Tyson was coming back and he was the peak Mike Tyson, he would wipe the floor with all the current heavyweights, I've got no doubt. And 1986, 1987 Mike Tyson cleans up. We know that. What about after that, 10 years after that, when he fought Bruno in Bruno 2, just after really that he'd come out of prison, again, that would be a hell of a Mike Tyson that would provide a lot of today's heavyweights with a lot of problems. What about the Tyson that fought McBride in 2005? He would, beat some low-level heavyweights, but he wouldn't be able to win the title 15 years ago. Okay, and so in 2020, it's just a dream. As I say, everybody wants him to turn back the clock, and I've got no doubt that he could come back and look really impressive against quite a few of the heavyweights out there. But win the heavyweight championship at 53, it's a step too far for me. But then, this is where things could all change. And this is where I would say, Eddie Hearn, this is up to you to sort out. Because, how about if Eddie Hearn put on a tournament, a Legends tournament, which is made up of 4-round competitions, and then a lot of the old legends come back, almost like the prize fighter. Now, I'm not suggesting that these 8 legends fight in the same night, but they don't need to. What coronavirus has given us is a lot of time. It also means that there's not going to be any audience that's going to be waiting for the fight. So it doesn't have to be done in one sort of 3-hour block. You could either do it stretched over a whole day, 4 quarterfinals in the morning, 2 semi-finals in the afternoon, and the final of the evening. You could do it over a week. You could have a fight Monday, a fight Tuesday, a fight Wednesday, a fight Thursday, quarterfinals. You could have the semis on Friday and Saturday, and the final on a Sunday. Each of these 4-round contests, or shorter if Mike Tyson has his way. You could even do it over a series of weeks, where each week you could have a fight, a quarterfinal in week 1, a quarterfinal in week 2, week 3 and week 4, week 5 and week 6 you could have the semis, and week 7 the final. That for me is pay-per-view right there. Okay, and also with prize fighter, the beauty of a prize fighter is not only the shorter rounds, which would help all of these guys because obviously they are advancing in years, but what would also happen is you would have a conclusion very, very quickly. None of this like the Super Series where we was waiting a year or 2 for the outcome. I mean, let's be honest, this would need to crack on because these guys are not getting any younger. Let me throw out some names for you just to whet the appetite. Mike Tyson is 53. Evander Holyfield is talking about coming back. He's 57. Great, that would be. How about Vitaly Klitschko? 48. David Tua, 47. That would be awesome to see David Tua in there in the mix. Butterbean, 53. Be like going back to Knockout Kings on the PlayStation. Butterbean against Tyson. Lennox Lewis. If Lennox Lewis at 54 could be tempted out of retirement, I think Lennox Lewis would still be good. He's kept himself in shape all these years. Shannon Briggs has been knocking around all these years. Let's go, champ. This would be perfect for the 48-year-old Shannon Briggs. And then you put into the mix, you put in Mike Tyson as well. I think you've got there, Eddie Hearn, I have just handed you the blueprint to something that boxing fans around the world would be salivating about. Get it on, get it sorted. Just send me how much you want me to pay on the pay-per-view and I will do it, whether it's over 7 weeks, 7 days or over a day where they're all fighting each other. Just send me how much and I will pay it, and many, many more will. But could Mike Tyson do that over 10 rounds, over 12 rounds, the championship distance? It's very unrealistic, and I do think that he would get hurt in the later rounds. Don't get me wrong, in the early rounds he'd be smashing people, I'm sure, but a step too far, 10 rounds and 12 rounds, but 4 rounds, king of the 4-rounders, Mike Tyson and those legends, now that would be something special. Hope you enjoyed that. Please like and subscribe to Fit to Box channel, and I shall speak to you soon.